Have you ever wondered what makes a 3 Michelin star team different? Most cooks fail not because they lack talent, but because they don't understand what's actually required. And the truth is, many of these lessons I learned translate to a lot of other industries trying to operate at a world-class level. I've worked and staged in multiple 3-star restaurants, and I'm here today to teach you some of the lessons that I learned along the way. The first lesson I learned, guys, the most important thing when you're operating at that high of a level is your mentality and your attitude. I've seen cooks that have had the best culinary training you could possibly ask for, worked at a bunch of 3-star restaurants, went to the best culinary schools, but they had a poor attitude, they had a poor mentality, they had a woe is me mentality, and that never brings you to the next step. Stop feeling sorry for yourself just because it's shit. Get over it. It's gonna be shit. Your job is gonna be hard. You're gonna need to get in early. You're gonna need to work your ass off. Don't expect favors from anybody. If you expect it to be shit and you own it, then it's better. Having the mentality where the chef says run, you say how far. The chef says jump, you say how high. That's the only mentality you need to have, because at the end of the day, you are going there to learn from them. They're somewhere in life that you aspire to be. I remember I went to go work for Claire Smith. She had achieved everything that I wanted to achieve in my career, right? I wanted to emulate her. Then who was I to stand in her kitchen and decide what she was right and what she was wrong about? My best option was to make myself formable around what she decided was the standard of her restaurant and take on all those lessons that she had put forward from what she learned in her career. Like that, you need to be a sponge. You need to have the right mentality. You need to have the right attitude. No one's coming to save you. You got to work your ass off to get where you want to go. Keep your attitude and your mentality. That's the most important thing. The second thing that I learned, guys, is that you need to create and decide what your own standard is. You spend time working for different chefs, working for different people. They all have their own standard. They all have their own level. Hopefully you level up. You work in better and better and better restaurants. Everywhere you go, hopefully you're getting better and better and the standard's getting higher and higher. At a certain point, you need to decide what your standard is and what your level is. You need to hold yourself to that standard and that level. You're going to operate your own team. You need to hold your team to a high level. Only you can decide what that is. It's the work that you do when nobody's watching that really makes a difference, and that's what I'm talking about here. You can cut corners all you want if you know you're not gonna get caught. What I'm trying to say is you need to decide yourself where you stand, and you need to hold yourself accountable to those standards. It's the only way you're gonna move forward. Decide what your standard is and hold yourself accountable, and don't make excuses. Third lesson, cream always rises to the top. If you get in there, you work your ass off, you do everything in your power to be the best version of yourself, you're gonna rise to the top. No one's holding you down, no one's holding you back. Take 100% responsibility for your actions, and cream will always rise to the top. The two biggest metrics to judge a great cook, speed and quality, right? You could either be very fast and produce terrible work, or you can be very slow and produce great work. You wanna be somewhere in the middle where you're producing a very high quality product at a very high rate of speed. At the end of the day, your value as a employee, not just in a restaurant, but your value as an employee is how much you're able to produce in a short period of time. You need to look at not how you can only cut corners, but how you can get so fast at what you're doing that you produce 10 times more, and that's how you become better at what you do. If you're moving really quick and what you're producing is shit, you're shit. If you're moving really slow and what you're producing is really great, still shit. You need to be able to find out a way to do both. Remember, my head chef always used to tell me that. Fast, nice. I need it faster, I need it nicer, I need it faster and nicer. We used to have competitions with each other. How long did it take you to prep 30 scallops? Oh, it took me an hour to prep 5 turbot. It took me 15 minutes to prep 5 turbot. It used to be like a competition amongst us who could do it quicker. That's what it's all about. It's about having that fun competition amongst your team to be able to figure out how to actually get better. You're all trying to push each other to get better every single day. And so that's what you need to keep in mind. You need to keep in mind that you need to take 100% responsibility for your day. I used to take the bus home when I was working in Toronto at Auberge de Pommier. I was never ready for service because I was too slow. I wasn't managing my time well enough. I was coming from a trattoria in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Well, when I took the bus home, I used to write a schedule for my next day. Okay, I arrive at 12 o'clock. Between 12 and 12:30, I'm doing this. Between 12:30 and 1, I'm doing this. Between 1 and 2, I'm doing this. I had all of my jobs lined up, written of what I needed to accomplish before service, so I didn't run into service, run over. And even still, I was running behind. Take 100% responsibility for getting quicker. And remember, it's not about making something great and slow, and it's not about making something slow and great. It's about making something great and fast, and that's what makes you a good cook. Cook a spare. Always cook a spare, right? What I learned working in Michelin star kitchens is anytime there's Michelin in, anytime there's a VIP table in, always cook a spare, right? Normally you're cooking per order. You get one sweetbread on, you're cooking a sweetbread, but you can never be too sure. If you're cooking a piece of meat, if you're cooking a fillet of beef, right? Cook 2. Have one backup. So you know what happens if one drops on the ground. You always need to have that option to be able to serve something better, because you can't sandbag service just because you overcook something or you undercook something. Always have one backup. At the end of the night, you could eat it, have a spare, have something else to look at, have something else to offer in service in case something else goes wrong. Matching portions is something that I learned in Michelin star kitchens. 2 pieces of fish need to be exactly the same if they're going to the same table, right? It's not like sous chef portions, 50 pieces of fish and any 2 goes up. You need to match exactly what you're serving. If it's a potato, if it's a carrot, if it's a piece of fish, if it's a piece of meat. A table of 4 should be 4 exactly the same size proteins, exactly the same size vegetables, exactly the same size garnish. Everything on each dish needs to be exactly the same. Now, in nature, sometimes things are gonna change. You're gonna order 12 ducks. Some of them are gonna be a little bit smaller. Some of them are gonna be a little bit bigger. That's nature. That's how it goes. It's fine. You still have control. You still have responsibility to take those ingredients, take those products and match them. And they're in 2s or 3s. We used to have our portions of fish in the drawer, a portion of 3 that match. We would have 3 sitting on top. Johnny, the chef, would portion everything before service, and he would make sure everything was exactly the same. All right. That way, you know, if you get a 3 top, 3 fish, exactly the same. A lot of that work is done before service, so you're not fumbling in service. Having good mise en place, so match your portions and make sure everything's going to the same table, exactly the same. Get everything checked. Quality control is the most important thing when you're operating at a high level. You produce a batch of something, you get it checked. You do portioning, you get it checked. Every single thing that you produce needs to get checked through a senior manager in the kitchen that's controlling the standard of the kitchen. That is probably the most important thing you can ask for in a fine dining atmosphere, right? In a Michelin star environment, the standards are very high, the stakes are very high, there's a lot to lose, there's a lot on the line. Everything needs to be the same, everything needs to be consistent every single day. And the only way to do that is by having a really strong united force controlling the standard of the kitchen from the top down. That means you have very robust and accurate line check procedures where, and not just that, it's the same person doing the same job every single day, ideally, because that adds to consistency as well. Consistency is king. Part of consistency is getting things checked. You're a chef and you're responsible for the kitchen. You need to taste everything in the kitchen. You need to taste canapes every day. You need to taste sauces every day. You need to get your palate used to everything that you're serving, and you need to be the one trying it. So you know if the next day, if it needs a splash of vinegar, if it needs a little bit of salt, you need to hold your team accountable for that, and you need to figure out what's changing and how. You can't take the lazy way out. You need to taste even when you're full, even when you're sick, even when you're not hungry. That's the difference. And to be honest with you, it's not very fun. You have a responsibility for the patrons of the restaurant, your responsibility as the leader of that culinary program. So remember, get everything checked. And if you're a manager, if you're a leader, check absolutely everything. Have people bring things to you every single day. Your job's to taste. The next point is consistency is king. I sort of touched on this on the last one, but I want to reiterate it. I tell my teams all the time, the most successful restaurant franchise in the world, what is it? McDonald's. If you eat a Big Mac in Abu Dhabi and you eat a Big Mac in Times Square, identical. And McDonald's spends millions and millions and millions of dollars to make sure that's the case, because they understand consistency is so important. You need to develop ways to check mise en place, and you need to make sure that every day what you're serving is exactly the same. Because you go to a restaurant that's really good and you're excited to tell your friends about it, and you bring them there or they go with their friends and it's shit, it's a terrible feeling. Chances are neither of you are gonna go back. If you're gonna be average, be average. If you're gonna be shit, be shit. If you're gonna be great, be great. Be consistent no matter what you do. The next point, guys, is cleaning. Cleaning is such a big part of the culture working in Michelin star restaurants. It is something that you harp on every single day. You need to have the discipline to be able to clean your kitchen, because it reflects the way that you put food on a plate. If you have the discipline to get on your hands and knees and scrub underneath the stove, to take a pressure washer behind the stove, get your shoulders going and scrub that stove as hard as you can, that's gonna translate, that's gonna create energy in the room that everything else is going to be executed to that level. Clean kitchen equals clean food. You need to have discipline in everything you do in a kitchen. It's cutting a piece of tape, cutting it straight, the way you take something out of the walk-in, right? The way you clean at the end of the night. Everything relates to the culture and the environment. Cleaning's the fundamental backbone to a successful restaurant program. Product knowledge and investing in your team. This is the next point. Michelin star restaurants I've worked in, the ownership and leadership is investing in the team by way of education, field trips, bringing in experts at what they do, bringing in butchers, bringing in farmers, bringing in foragers, having them come in and educate the team and talk to the team about what they're serving, sending the team out to farms, fishermen, to the countryside, not just the products that they're serving, but we would do projects on chefs, restaurateurs, industry leaders, ingredients. It was very common that we would give a cook someone in the team, we would give them a project, right? Your project is Thomas Keller. I want you to educate the team on who Thomas Keller is. And someone would put together a 15-minute presentation on this guy's career. You're constantly investing in the team. You're constantly having the team invest in each other. And also you're building a culture where everyone understands what it is they're doing. They understand the industry more as a whole. They understand industry leaders as a whole, what makes industry leaders different. And if you constantly invest in your team, if you constantly teach your team about what makes these people different, they're gonna start adapting these qualities themselves, all right? So invest in your team, invest in education. You'll see your program rise significantly.